Why do you start every new project with a burning fire, only to watch it fade into ash a few weeks later? You are addicted to a dangerous modern illusion, the myth of motivation. Motivation is an emotion, and like all emotions, it is unreliable, fleeting, and completely dependent on your external circumstances. When the weather is bad, when you feel tired, or when the initial excitement wears off, motivation simply vanishes. The Stoics knew that relying on how you feel to dictate what you do is a guaranteed recipe for failure. Marcus Aurelius didn't wake up at dawn to lead the Roman Empire because he felt motivated. He did it because it was his duty. To build a life of true substance, you must stop waiting for the right mood to strike. You must replace the cheap sugar rush of motivation with the unbreakable iron of discipline. The shift from motivation to discipline begins with a concept modern psychology calls the aggregation of marginal gains, the 1% rule. We are culturally conditioned to believe that massive success requires massive, exhausting action. We try to change our entire lives in a single weekend, relying on loud bursts of energy that inevitably lead to burnout. But Stoicism is the philosophy of endurance. Zeno, the founder of Stoicism, stated, "Well-being is realized by small steps, but is truly no small thing." The 1% rule dictates that you do not need to be 100% better today. You only need to be 1% better than you were yesterday. Read one single page. Work out for just 10 minutes. Write one paragraph. These actions seem insignificant in the present moment, but mathematically, a 1% daily improvement compounds into a 37-fold transformation over a single year. True discipline is the quiet, relentless execution of tiny daily routines. To master this 1% rule, you must implement the psychological strategy of the minimum viable action. On the days when you are exhausted and your mind screams at you to quit, the barrier to completing a massive task is too high. Your brain's amygdala perceives the effort as a threat. The Stoic solution is to completely lower the barrier. Don't commit to a grueling 2-hour workout. Commit to putting on your gym shoes. Don't commit to writing a 10-page report. Commit to opening the document and writing a single sentence. You bypass the brain's resistance by making the action so ridiculously small that it is impossible to fail. Once you cross that initial threshold, the laws of physics take over. An object in motion stays in motion. The discipline is not in the grand achievement. The discipline is simply in showing up. The second psychological trap that destroys discipline is an unhealthy obsession with the final outcome. We stare endlessly at the mountain peak, become overwhelmed by the distance, and refuse to take the next step. Stoicism demands a radical shift in your focus. You must divorce yourself from the outcome and marry the process. The ancient Stoics used the metaphor of an archer. An archer can control their training, their breathing, and how they pull the bowstring. But once the arrow leaves the bow, the wind and the target are completely out of their control. Stop obsessing over making $1 million, losing 50 pounds, or getting millions of views. Those outcomes are arrows in the air. Your only concern should be pulling the bowstring today. Reward yourself for completing the daily habit, not for achieving the final goal. When the process becomes the reward, you become unstoppable. True discipline goes beyond forcing yourself to complete a task. It requires a fundamental shift in how you view yourself. Psychology calls this identity-based habits. If you are trying to quit smoking, saying, "I'm trying to quit," implies you are still a smoker resisting a cigarette. Saying, "I am not a smoker," changes your identity completely. The Stoics believe that your ethos, your character, is built strictly by your daily actions. You must stop focusing on what you want to achieve and start focusing on who you want to become. Every time you choose the difficult, disciplined path, you are casting a psychological vote for your new identity. You are not trying to exercise. You are an athlete. You are not trying to read. You are a student of life. When discipline becomes a core part of your identity, it no longer requires willpower. It simply becomes the way you exist. The final and most crucial component of Stoic discipline is understanding how to handle failure. A common destructive misconception is that discipline means perfection. It does not. You will inevitably miss a workout. You will give in to temptation. You will have dark days where the 1% rule feels utterly impossible. When this happens, the undisciplined mind falls into the what the hell effect. They make one mistake, feel immense guilt, and completely abandon the system. Marcus Aurelius struggled with this too, constantly writing reminders in his journal to get back on track without self-pity. When you fall, practice immediate self-forgiveness and hit the reset button. Acknowledge the slip, analyze what went wrong objectively, and immediately execute the very next right action. Discipline is not a flawless winning streak. It is the speed at which you recover from a mistake. Do not let a bad day become a bad week. Another fatal mistake is relying entirely on willpower to maintain your new habits. Willpower is a biological resource. It is like a muscle that gets fatigued as the day progresses. Modern psychology shows that the most disciplined people do not actually have superior willpower. They simply use it less. How? Through environmental design. The Stoics believed in controlling only what you can, and your immediate physical environment is entirely within your control. If you want to eat healthier, do not rely on your exhausted brain to resist the junk food in your kitchen. Throw it out. If you want to read before bed, put your phone in another room and place the book on your pillow. You must ruthlessly engineer your surroundings to make the disciplined choice the path of least resistance and the bad habit practically impossible. Guard your physical citadel so your mind doesn't have to fight unnecessary battles. Finally, to maintain the 1% rule, you must learn a deeply unpopular skill. You must embrace the boring. We live in an era of hyperstimulation, where we expect every task to be entertaining, fast, and exciting. But the truth about greatness is that it is incredibly monotonous. Doing the same fundamental habits every single day, waking up early, practicing your craft, saving money, is rarely glamorous. Seneca wrote that, "Nothing is so bitter that a calm mind cannot find comfort in it." You must fall in love with the boredom of repetition. The people who ultimately succeed are not those who are constantly entertained or hyped up. They are those who can tolerate the silent monotony of daily execution without seeking a cheap distraction. Stop looking for the magic pill or the exciting shortcut. Mastery is just doing the boring basics, day after day, without losing focus. But the most sobering reason to build iron discipline is the unforgiving reality of time. The Stoics practiced Memento Mori, the daily reminder that you will die. Every day you wait for motivation, every day you skip the 1% improvement because it feels too hard, is a day of your actual life that is gone forever. The pain of discipline is temporary, but the pain of regret is permanent. Psychologically, recognizing the absolute scarcity of your time violently strips away your excuses. When you truly internalize that your days are numbered, you realize you simply do not have the luxury of waiting until you feel like it. You must stop trading your ultimate potential for the cheap, fleeting comfort of the present moment. So, here is your final protocol. Stop watching endless motivational videos waiting for a magical spark. You do not need a spark, you need a system. Lower the barrier to your first action, shift your focus entirely to the daily process, and ruthlessly engineer your environment for success. Remember the words of Epictetus. How long are you going to wait before you demand the best for yourself? The 1% rule is not a temporary productivity hack. It is a fundamental philosophy of life. The path to greatness is not a single, spectacular leap. It is a long, quiet road paved with small, unglamorous, disciplined choices. The blueprint is in your hands. Anchor your feet to the ground. Take a deep breath and simply execute the next small step. Stop wishing. Start building.